When you are pounding groundnuts, the blind is not swallowing them.
All right, let's go on to our final story. Finally, the Port Harcourt Refinery has failed to meet its production rollout deadline, missing the 7th scheduled date for commencement of operations. The refinery, which has undergone extensive rehabilitation efforts, was expected to be operational by now to reduce Nigeria's reliance on fuel imports. However, setbacks in repairs and logistical challenges have continued to delay the refinery's reopening. The persistent delay underscores the ongoing challenges in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. I still have Akin Fatunke right here with me, and of course, Olufemi Lawson. We are at it again. Olufemi, I know why you're laughing. Now, the NNPCL has again failed to begin fuel production at the Port Harcourt Refinery in Rivers State. Do you think they are playing games at this point?
For me, it's not about playing games. It's about the fact that we have gotten to a point where we must admit that we no longer have any business running those refineries. It has gotten to a point where for at least the last 20 years of our lives as adults in Nigeria, these stories have repeatedly been told. We're going to work tomorrow, we're going to work. We've lost count of dates for resuscitation of these refineries. It is very clear. We're all here when Dangote launched, the refinery to be constructed. We're all here. Even our children were here already when in our lifetime, we have one of the largest in the world refinery in this same city of Lagos. It is very clear that government has no business in that refinery any longer. Why don't we just hand this refinery over to people who have the capacity, who have the wherewithal to run it? Because how can we continuously tell Nigerians in particular that this refinery is coming up, almost every 3 months we have new dates of commencement of operation. Every year we have funds allocated for these refineries. And for God's sake, for how long are we going to keep listening to this? There's no doubt that government has no business any longer in those refineries. And government should be bold enough to take its hands off and let people, and this is going to help, because if those who have the capacity to run these refineries are allowed to take over, for God's sake, not only is it going to increase, supply locally, but I'm sure it's going to be one of the ways to reduce, even the cost that we're battling with as a country today.
All right, so Akin Fatunke, very quickly, I know this is no longer news to you. Now, why do you think there is so much hesitation, by the way, to get our refineries to work? We've heard about huge chunks of salaries being paid to workers at these non-functional facilities. We heard about over $4 billion spent to revive these refineries. Now, why do you think it is at play, especially with such a critical sector?
I'll be very frank with you because I don't know if I'm going to still be alive tomorrow. And I've gotten to a stage where I tell the truth exactly as it is.
And while you're processing your thought, I would really love you to land us one of those your Yoruba adages that might actually fit this moment.
Ẹ̀dìyẹ ńlá ó bà lókùn, ara ò lè rókùn, ara ò lè rẹ́dìyẹ. A big hen comes on the the line that you want to put for hanging clothes. You think that cup will be and you think that thing will be
stable.
It cannot be stable.
True.
It will tumble. Look, Mr. President knows, all of us know, and we are playing games. It's simple. We are playing games. Femi made the point that if you cannot do what you need to do. So if you cannot cook, why are you in the kitchen? For the 7th time running, Mr. Otabo, you will not have children and you will not have words. That for the 7th time, you keep on telling them that things are going to work, and you think they will ever trust you. Never. And that's the reason why trust has gone off the roof.
True.
I keep on saying, Mr. President, who has been in the oil and gas, I was in the oil and gas. You don't have to be in the oil and gas for you to have common sense anyway. What are you doing there? Mr. Anakin, what are you doing there for the 7th time? Remember, the whole thing was now, and that is why everybody is saying that the APC government is all propaganda and what have you. Insane climbs. And that is the truth. People who are in that mix will not continue to stand there. Then you even put insult or injury just now. They are getting their salaries. They have been doing turnaround maintenance. Why don't we accept the fact that that is not working? And then when it is not working, it's not working. And then somebody came around, the same NNPCL, still playing one game of catch-up here and there.
Okay, let me...
It's like we are collectively not serious.
Okay.
Nobody, unfortunately, even if, and this is the point, this is the shame, even if the Port Harcourt Refinery is going to come on stream tomorrow, nobody is going to believe.
Okay, now Olufemi, quickly. He just said something now. Obviously, there are some responsible principals in charge of all of these operations that things are not... Why is it so difficult for heads to roll in this sector for not having to meet the deadline? Because I recall Kyari appeared before the Senate and said the refinery would kick off, and he was basking in so much confidence, and at the end of the day, it didn't turn out to be so. Why is it so difficult for heads to roll in this sector?
The very failure to meet this last given deadline is enough, not just for people to be fired, but for even people to resign. But just like the honest that has become part of our culture, don't be surprised by tomorrow a new deadline will be set, a new date for resumption of production will be set, and we'll wait. Then in the next 3 months, we'll come back to the studio and discuss it. I think the president must be decisive, not only in letting people who have no business in this business, quit these jobs, but also, as the leader, ensure that the government is sitting as the Minister of Petroleum, because Lokpobri and the other person, they're just Minister of State in this ministry. The president, being the head of that ministry, as the case is now, should hands off the refineries to institutions that can run it.
Okay.
We have no business anymore, because it has become very clear that Nigeria has, rather than investing so much in human resources, funding of salaries and whatever you call it, year in, year out, without productivity. I think this has to stop.
All right, it has to stop. I can find in 5 seconds. We're already out of time. What's your final thought?
Mr. President, I hope and I pray that this TVC reel you get to hear, and those who surround you are going to get to hear this. Time is running out. Nigerians are being impatient.
Right. And
please take it that this is one of the greatest shame that can come to any leader, irrespective. And I'm not saying that you are 100%, but you got in there. You are the chief samurai.
Right.
On your table, the box stops. You must take decisive action concerning some of the things that we are beginning to see as positive signs, and fix our oil and gas energy security. You have no business being the Minister for Petroleum. I'm sure he'll be shaking his head as I speak.
Thank you.
And he will say, Akin, so who should it be? He knows there are so many people out there. He knows that very much. That can. I'm not asking for it, but there are technocrats who can handle it and will handle it well.
Thank you very much, Akin Fatuke, CEO, Chronicler and Associates, Chartered Accountant and a Policy Analyst. Good to have you on the show.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And of course, Olufemi Lawson, Executive Director, Center for Public Accountability. I really want to say thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. All right, and that's our show for today. Remember, you can follow the conversation on our social media platforms at TVC News NG or on our website at tvcnews.tv. I am Mark Otabo. Until next week, goodbye.